What's up? What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Monday. And this is an awesome show today we're having today because you know what? It's about women. This whole month is about women. I mean, it's always about women anyway. I'm gonna give it to y'all like that today. But right now, this is definitely about the women. And of course, this is Real Talk with Alyson Williams. And let me find out how my co-host is doing today. How are you, Alyson?
I didn't know it was that. You just frightened me. I'm like, I have too. That's too much responsibility. This is Real Talk with Bill Foster, and sometimes I come to visit.
We can say
Bill,
that if you want to. The
Bill,
beautiful
I'm
thing is that
good.
we're here.
I'm good. I'm good. And I want to apologize to you. I want to apologize to Malika and to all of our listeners. I wasn't able to make it in for Black History Month. I got on a plane and I got tossed around and done real wrong at the airport. So by the time I got back home, I was in no condition.
Yeah. Yeah,
I couldn't
definitely.
regroup. And I apologize because I had a lot of good stuff in store for Black History Month. But you know what? It's Women's History Month, and I got even more in store.
Absolutely. But you know, the beautiful thing is it's always Black history. Somebody mute yourselves. It's
That's
always
Audrey.
good Black history whenever we talking. And the bottom line is maybe next month we'll just have a good old Allison and Bill conversation, unless we bring some other beautiful people in. And you know, everybody out there, this is Real Talk Chronicles, and I'm your host with my co-host Allison. So if you're watching from YouTube, subscribe, push the thumb button. If you're watching from Facebook, share it. If you share from Allison's page, share it to mine. Just let people know that this is the show that we give you real talk, authentic conversation, organic. And today we are celebrating these wonderful sisters that we have with us here. And we will let them introduce themselves and Allie and I. But before we do that, Allison, let me ask you a question. Like this is your brain trust right here. This is your idea. Give me a give me a brief synopsis of why these beautiful sisters that you wanted to have today, just in a lump, you know, and we'll let them introduce themselves, what they meant to you.
Well, because it was Women's History Month, and I wanted to spotlight women. I wanted to spotlight strong entrepreneurial spirits. I wanted to spotlight my beautiful Black sisters. And these are all women that I've not only been friends with for years and years and years and years, but they are, to me, the epitome of the entrepreneurial spirit. They have stepped up their game and continue to do it, always growing, always trying to stay on the cutting edge, always trying to do something to reinvent themselves, empower themselves while empowering others. And they're my sister friends. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
I'm looking at, like, I don't have, this is my crew, like part of my cross section of my crew, and that we're never going to be housewives because we're never going to kick and scream and cuss each other, or you know, or throw off a wig unless we want to throw off a wig. You know, we're not going to turn over no tables and get, you know, lick it up and just be horrible. And I'm so happy. I may not have a franchise on TV, but I got these.
Oh. But you got part of a podcast on YouTube, so that's the other that's the beautiful thing about it.
I'm surrounded by beautiful, you know, women, and I want to spotlight them because they have always lifted me up and supported me and come out to do whatever it was that I needed in terms of listening to me sing a note or walk across the stage or whatever the case may be. So to see how we've come through it, and I'm like I said, we've known each other a long time. We look good. We've got old as Methuselah all together.
Exactly.
If you put us all together, it's the Crypt Keeper. I'm just saying.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Listen, I want to start off because I'm looking at the board going this way. With a young lady that, as I said, these women I'm actually working with.
Is it me or is it my internet?
Terry,
you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Mute yourself.
Yeah, mute yourself, Terry, until we get to you.
Okay.
We got you. Yeah. So
I start off with a young lady that I'm working with right now. Like I said, I'm working in various areas with these women on their own projects. We cross collaborate and cross pollinate and what have you. And right now, just like you, Bill, this young lady has decided she wanted to start a radio/podcast. It's called the Front Stage Radio Show. And Cynthia Tyre comes from the Delaware, Philadelphia area, and she's always done event planning and promotion and stuff like that, showcasing of talent. But she wanted to take it to another level, the next level, by taking her brand, the Front Stage to the Front Stage Radio Show. So Cynthia Tyre, come on in and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Well, I'm already in.
Okay, there you go.
Well, stay with us.
I already told them my name, but I'll tell you what I do. And by the way, she knew the other ladies for a long time. I just met her. I'm 16. She knew my mother.
Right. I used to babysit you, remember?
By the way, I did want to share this first, though. She did. But I have on the young hair tonight.
There you go.
I really look old. I got on the young hair, though. But let's say, I did want to share with you guys first that I got my COVID shot today. Is this ready to fall? If it falls, I'm in trouble. So there it goes. But anyway.
We're going to talk about COVID. So go ahead.
I just want to say I got my vaccine today. So I'm really happy. I think it hyped me up. What's in that shot? I'm telling you. Something's in the shot because...
Which one did you get, Cynthia?
I have Pfizer. And I swear, I feel like doing a cartwheel.
Right.
Wow. Maybe it's got some extra caffeine or Red Bull in it.
Or the B12, something's going on, you guys. Get the shot. Even if you don't want the vaccine, just get the shot, and it'll make you feel good. We're
going to talk about that too. So Cynthia, tell us about you real quick, and let everybody know that why Cynthia is in the building with us today.
I'm in the virtual building because I just started a radio show 3 weeks old, and Alyson Williams has been. Thank you. I will clap for myself, but I'm holding my back screen. So I don't want you to think I'm holding a sexy look. I'm just holding my screen, but I do like the look. So I started a radio show. I used to do a lot of promotions, and I had an event called Front Stage, and this was Front Stage Fridays because the event was on Fridays. And all the artists came through. I mean, new and upcoming artists and old school artists from Allison, Glenn Jones, Melissa, even Mesa, family, Kindred, Family Soul, so many artists. It was just fun. And so I laid back for a long time. And with COVID and all, I've started to be a caregiver for my mom. So, and then what I do in, can I say real life, I guess, I talk there too. I'm a corporate trainer, so I love to talk. So I said, let me start a radio show. So I started talking to Alyson, and next thing you know, this thing happened. Alyson, would you do this? Would you be on this with me? Would you do this? And so there she was, consulting and having fun. And we have segments. One of our segments is called Live Pod. It started with Philly Live Pod, a good friend of mine. And John Barber just had Philly on the lockdown when they used to have the blue funk, and Jill Scott used to come through, Music Soul Child. So you couldn't even get on his stage unless you were doing it. So he lives in Philly. I started doing something in Delaware, but I didn't care if you had the blue funk sound, what he had. So we meshed and we started doing things, and he was such a mentor to me that I asked him, I said, would you come on the show and do a segment? Yes. And so then I said, let's have a girl segment. And so we call it Girl Chat Corner. And the girls have a segment. So we come on, we bring ladies, but we started with the ladies, but we do know that we're going to bring some men on. We don't know if they're going to be able to stand the heat, but we're going to bring them on. All right. So Bill, perhaps you can come on my show.
I would love to.
We're going to bring you on.
Cynthia, let me tell you something. Let me interject for a second.
Yeah.
It's so funny that our paths are going the same way, because I was an event planner too, a promoter, one of the top in New York area for years. And then when Real Talk started, the beautiful thing about Real Talk Chronicles is that it started from the passing of my mother, and Alyson was one of the first people with me.
Wow.
And we started conversing about that. But a lot of our Real Talk in the beginning in 2008 was about relationships. So if y'all bring me in, trust me, I'm gonna give it to you on a relationship tip. So we can talk about it. So and
right,
so it's a beautiful thing.
Relationships, you got to bring somebody for me to have a relationship with. How about that? I'm gonna let you in if you got somebody. Tell me now. I'm gonna let you in. Oh, I'll act right, Alyson. I'm sorry.
No, that's a beautiful thing. So that's a beautiful thing. So
the third part. Can I tell you about the third part?
Oh, okay. Absolutely, please.
So Alyson is in the second segment, of course, with we have Girl Chat Corner, and she invited our girl Audrey. Did you know you were my girl? You know it now. Okay. She invited our girl Audrey on the show on this upcoming Thursday. And by the way, Audrey's wearing my hat. So
awesome.
Yeah, so but she'll get to her segment. She'll get to tell you all about that. Yeah, so we have that segment, but the special segment that we have is our third segment, and it is in honor of Alyson Williams. We have a contest, and it's celebrating the 30th year of the classic R&B hit, Just Call My Name. So we have our contestants consist of artists that are coming on, and you don't know who they are, so we'll play their music. The judges will listen to their music. Once the judges listen to their music, they will decide if they can come to the stage. And coming to the stage means coming into the Zoom room. Other than that, you just sit in the waiting room. You may not come in. We may never know your name. We may never know who you are. But if you come in and you say, just call my name, well, call their name and we will introduce them to everyone. So we've been having 4 contestants a night. And if 4 comes in the Zoom room, which that hasn't happened, then the judges will collaborate and they will pick one artist per week. So this contest is going to run for 10 weeks. We have 2 winners now, and the judges have been tough. We've been having many celebrity judges. We had T-Life last week, Herb Middleton. We've had Alyson.
Stuart Bascom from Black Ivory.
Oh, yep, Stuart from Black Ivory. We had
Doc Williams.
Dennis Doc Williams, the music director of the OJs, and Vanessa Williams, Vanessa Jordan, who is the CEO of the National R&B Music Society. She's been there, and then a sister just on our side helping us out. Next week we have Johnny, what everybody's name is Williams. That's crazy. Johnny Walker, and a lady named Pamela Knight. I don't know if you know her, but she's an awesome sister. She is actually the co-manager of the Whispers. And you know, Harry Coons is coming. I can go on and on. Monifa's coming on. She's going to be a judge. Flash coming on. John Canada Terrell. Everybody knows him as Flash. 5 Heartbeats. Many judges. We have 2 new judges per week. Actually, this week coming up, Alyson doesn't. No, it's not this week, but the following week. There's a surprise coming on for Alyson to celebrate Black History Month, actually Women's History, and you'll see that, Alyson. I can't spill this. See, I didn't tell you. So that's it. She says I say everything, but it's an interesting show. We don't just stick with one thing, and we just really have conversations throughout the entire show. And I get to stay at home, be a caregiver, and have fun every Thursday at 7:00.
Awesome. We're gonna
at 7:00. They can see it on WMEL.
Yes.
And then you can get it on all these different platforms. So we're gonna come back, Cynthia, and you're gonna give us where to find us on Facebook and where to find us on. And if you can yell out to what's her name, Alexa, they'll do it. It's amazing how it's all together. All you got to do is just say it, and somebody will play it for you.
Well, we're definitely going to promote that later on. And it's so funny about John, because I've met John several times. He's a martial artist. So the last time I saw him, he was in Philly. We was at a Philly martial arts tournament in Philly. So yeah, definitely good brother. So then without further ado, we'll go to Audrey Wheeler Downing. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so good. It's so good to see people, outside of my family. Except for people at the supermarket. Anyway,
right.
I'm a singer. Alyson and I go way back, just like Cynthia said. We do know each other since we were like 5, I think it was, something like we started singing together around 5 years old. But she started me we started in different places, but we were put together to sing together. And then the blend was so amazing that we just continued to just like work with different producers. We did a lot of the early, her label, Mates, Fat Boys, LL Cool J, you know, we did all of that. Basketball, that's us. And we always called ourselves AW squared, even though I'm Audrey Wheeler Downing now, AWD. Right. I'm always going to be AW squared.
I'm going to get me a hyphen too. You wait.
I'm getting me one. Yeah. So, and you know, obviously we're working singers, working artists, but this pandemic has had us home for over a year now. Right. And, you know, I just feel like you have to find some kind of something to keep you mentally straight, because you're constantly thinking probably about, when am I going to be able to see people? When am I going to be able to go back out? I'm speaking for myself. When do I get to go out and perform? When can I hug someone? When can I see my family? So I've always been a person, since I was 10 years old, I learned to crochet. Never really did it that much, but well, that's not true. I didn't do it in my early career. Totally forgot. And it wasn't until we had a child and, you know, I was being a mother and a nurturer that I picked it back up again, you know, making hats, just doing little things. And in the course of the years of touring, I'm normally out on the road with Chaka Khan. Even when I am on tour, I always have yarn, needle and thread with me, because, you know, flights are delayed, flights are canceled. Yeah. You know, I've had people walk up to me at airports and say, you know, you don't look like you crochet or you knit, because they always say knit, even though it's crochet. So bottom line, and my camera's moving all over the place. Yeah, so basically it's something that I've always done as a calming thing, as a stress reliever. And during the course of the beginning of the pandemic in March, another crocheter asked me, she said, hey, I got this order. Could you make some masks? And I was like, I had never made a mask, but I was, you know, we always say, yeah, sure, I can make a mask. What you need? And she said she got this order from someone who wanted like 100 masks, and she wanted to do half and wanted me to do the other half. And that's how it started. I started doing the mask. I started posting it on social media, and people started buying. You know, my main thing is hats. I actually make dresses, you know, that too, but I had never done a mask. But I figured if I can do a dress, I can do a mask. A mask is pretty small. So that's what I've been doing, though I am going crazy still. I'm not going to lie. You know, I'm anxious because I'm not of age to get the shot yet. And I'm just like, you know, I'm in New Jersey, so we don't know when they're going to open it up to us. You know, thank God my husband, we have a recording studio at home. So if anyone needs me to record, I can do that at home, but it's nothing like live, nothing like being with people. So anyway, my history with Alyson goes way back to the 1900s. And, you know, she's always going to be my sister. We don't have to talk every
Audrey, are you from New York?
I am from Queens, New York. Yeah.
She's a Queens girl. She's a Queens girl.
A Queens girl.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, Bill. This is why it's really intricate and real juicy for me today, because the lady in the middle there, Miss Lisa Ascalise, she calls herself the inventress. And she has a company that's all about inventing from A to Z. So even as much as, you know, we take on these projects, like Audrey's always sung and she's always crocheted, and she made different things here and there. And then the mask became the thing that made her, almost put her in a mass production kind of situation. Factory. You know, like she had her very own assembly line going. Yeah. And what Lisa does, Lisa takes people who have a product, and then she takes them and gets them and shows them how to get that product to the point where you think you're the My Pillow guy, except you got good sense and you don't
really.
Yeah, that's what she does. And I have tried to take Audrey. Well, I have taken Audrey to other friends of mine that have boutiques and what have you. They just haven't had the time to make the connection so that there's enough product to you know, supply and demand, to satisfy the supply, to satisfy the demand, and those kind of things. But I know those things are going to happen. But I'm so anxious to watch Audrey blow up. I know it makes her
nervous.
Cat crazy, but I know that it can happen. And then once you get past that thing, it's like, man, I would never
Yeah.
thought that, I'm the person responsible for the Audrey mask, and the Audrey mask has sold 5 million masks. You don't even
I
know
get
how
it.
that could happen, but it could. And so
Yeah.
I want to bring in Lisa Askalees. Come on in and tell us about yourself.
Hi, you beautiful ladies. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Allison. Oh my, I'm so excited to be here. And I'm so happy that everybody went before me because I love the stories. I love the history. I love the history. Audrey, I love your story. Cynthia, love your story. Love what I've heard. And Allison knows. She brought me here for a reason. So Allison is such a queen, a princess, a goddess. I've known her for many, many years.
Now I got to write a check. Okay, go ahead.
On so many levels, it's too crazy and too long to even discuss. Really, she is the epitome of goddessness. I think I'm a trademark that. She really is. And we all know that. Anybody who knows Allison knows that she is a ride or die person. She is one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life.
Tell them how I came to ride or die with you.
So Allison, I write pretend music. So I'm not an artist in the industry like you guys are, but I love music. I love to sing. I pretend sing. I have a microphone over here, but I write music, and I wrote a song, and Alyson Williams sang the song, many songs that I wanted publicized to be public. And we met through Oleana, if I backtrack, right?
Mm-hmm.
We met through Oleana first, I have to say.
Mm-hmm. I know that. And of all the music that she wrote, one was a song in tribute to 9/11.
Heal the World. So I don't know how far back you wanted me to go.
Which you can still find, but then initially she wanted me to sing for a baby blanket.
You guys, I apologize. We're having connectivity issues.
Okay, no worries. We haven't gotten you yet.
All right, we're coming to you, Terry. Hold on, Terry. We got you.
We're okay. We're not mad at you. We thought you were somewhere day drinking. It's okay. We're coming back to you.
So Allison, I don't know how far back you wanted me to go.
Well, because I always wonder, what do you do when someone says, I need you to sing for a baby blanket? I got the idea for a baby blanket, and when you put it on the baby, it still sings the baby a lullaby. And that was the most incredible thing. I said, I get to sing to babies.
Yes.
So that's how we met. And then it just went on from there.
And it kept on going. It kept on going.
It kept on going.
And that shows your what a loving person you are, and loving and loyal you are. And you sang my baby blanket songs. You sang Heal the World, this another song that I wrote. You sang it. Everybody listened to it. We sang it through schools, etc., at a conference, etc. But Allison and I met because of that through a friend of ours, Oleana, right? A dancer. Mm-hmm. And just stayed connected through all of these years because you are committed and you do your thing, Allison. You are so determined to succeed. And I want to see you succeed and grow further. And the reason we are together is because you have that determination. And I always call you. I just call your name. Allison, how's that song go?
Please, if you start singing, I'm going to mute you.
I keep forgetting the way the song goes, Allison.
No, you don't forget. Listen, if I remember later, I'll bring it to your attention. She tries to be slick and make me sing. And now,
exactly.
We're going to ask you about Aoi a little bit later, Lisa, because she has a whole movement and a whole brand. Like I said, it's inventing A to Z, but it's so much more. And there are conferences and things of that nature. And we're going to come back. And then last but not least, we're going to bring into the room Terry Miller. Now, it's funny because it's, we can say that Cynthia, does event planning and promotions and has the radio show, and then she does this IT training kind of stuff that she does as her other stream of income, her other job. I won't say her side job because they all require the same exact energy and what have you. Right. Lisa, it says she's the inventress, and Audrey has her designs. She's a singer. It's very easy to say what she does. It's not always easy for me to say what Terry does. she's like my best friend, and she's a total hot mess. She's a fellow Torian, but every time I have to go to her and say, what do you call yourself again? Because she does a lot.
Right.
It's kind of like how my friends treat me. I do a lot as a singer, but to them, I'm just Alyson. So it's like, sometimes it gets very, the lines just blur. So when I go to Terry, I say, what do you do? She is the executive to the CEO. That is her title. That means that she works for Fortune 500 people, and whoever the CEO is, she is the executive assistant. She keeps their life together. She holds their family together. She keeps their marriages together. She keeps their businesses from going under. She figures out how to get from A to B and left to right, because they can have a lot of money and they can have a lot of power and prestige, but they are clueless as the day is long. And she gives it to them like this, that, and
but the one thing Terry got is 2G. We're gonna have to step her little internet game up. I know one thing. She can hold everybody else together, but she can't hold herself together.
That's that Connecticut thing.
I'm gonna have to get it. Yeah, Terry. I don't know, Terry. Where are you? In a mountain somewhere? Because we can't keep you.
She's in Canterbury, Wisconsin. I don't know what.
Yeah, Terry, come on in here, because I know you
don't
too.
Look sad.
Don't be sad, Terry.
I'm not sad, but anyway. So I live.
So Terry, tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, I want to apologize for my connectivity issues. So my building, we have strong wind in Connecticut today, and it's knocking out like the connectivity, the internet in the high-rise buildings here. So please, first of all, I apologize, everyone, because it's a real disruption. And to my host and
hey, everybody,
everyone.
You see how she said high-rise? I'm sorry, I'm just on the second floor. Excuse me.
So is she.
I'm on the third floor. I'm on the third floor, but it's insane all day today. It's like everything. Wait, Alyson gives me this big, huge introduction that I could solve problems of the world, but I can't stay in this studio to save my life.
I know. It's all right.
No, Alyson, I just threw your whole wonderful introduction in the garbage. But anyway.
No, you didn't go in the garbage. We thought you were just backstage and you went, ta-da!
Well, Terry, it's a beautiful thing to see you as a friend of mine. Also, it's always a pleasure to see you, and it's great to meet you, ladies. I feel a connection. Audrey, I'm going to try to help you get a vaccine. So after as we say in the green room, I'll try to give you some information so maybe it can help you with that. Lisa, it's great to hear your story. Me being a first responder, so it's very nice of you to write a song in lieu of that. And like Cynthia, like we were just talking about the fact that, we have promotional and stuff like that in background. And then also, Audrey, you're a New Yorker. So, there's a New York thing right here too with Allie and myself. Terry, I got love for you, sis. We peoples. Last time I saw you was at my brunch party. So, and you had a ball, girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you won't tell nobody.
She plays just as hard as she works.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. You gotta play hard. You gotta play hard. If you work, you gotta play hard. If you work as hard, y'all, I see a lot of stuff. Woo. But anyway.
So this is going to take me to my first question, everybody. But this is Real Talk Chronicles. Real Talk with Alyson Williams. We have phenomenal women. This is Women's Month, and this is what we're doing. We're celebrating women. And shout out to everybody that's watching, giving you ladies shout outs, and it's much appreciated. My first question to all of you, and I'll start with you, Terry, and then we'll work our way to Cynthia, Audrey, and then Lisa, is being the woman that you are. Who were people that inspired you to stay on the path that you were on? Like Audrey, like Terry, you're in the corporate world. Who inspired you? Cynthia, who inspired you to do the things you did? Lisa, who inspired you? Audrey, who inspired you to keep singing? So I'll start with you, Terry, and then Alyson, you can chime in whenever you want, sis. So go ahead, Terry.
So I don't know if you guys remember Al Teller. He used to work for MCA. He was the CEO of MCA Records. He had an assistant named Sonia. And I know that there are very few African-American executive assistants to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. And when I first started working, I worked for this big broker. And we figured out that we were both women of color by our vernacular. And she's like, sis, I want anything I could do to help you, blah, blah, blah. There's not a lot of us in this industry. They don't, you only get so far. And then, they top you off or, put you somewhere else or whatever. And and she was really my inspiration. She just is like, you have to talk a certain way, look a certain way, dress a certain way. And just through the ranks and just when you deal with the CEO and his family, it's almost like a marriage. Like you're the second wife. And I am so privileged that one, I've had a peep into their lifestyle. So I'm the hardest person in a restaurant. I'm the hardest person anywhere because I know how they get treated. And I expect the same kind of treatment. And you know what I'm saying? And I know you can walk down the street in Greenwich, Connecticut and walk into a store and pick up $500 worth of merchandise, not give a credit card, and just read a credit card that you memorize and take the merchandise and walk out. I've done that. So I know that there are the fine line, the line that a lot of us nowadays are just becoming hip to. I've been privileged to see it. And, that was my inspiration that, that's how I raised my son. Like, you belong everywhere. And I think, that's really my motivation to do my job. That's my motive, because to be honest, it's about privilege and access and a Rolodex. And, that's what we as African Americans have to learn to do. Network, reach back, pull up. And I do it all the time because, I have access to a lot of wealthy people. And a lot of us get into that garbage can and we have those blinders on and we forget where we come from. I'm never going to forget where I come from. And if I ever have the opportunity to reach back, help someone, Alyson will tell you, my phone rings all hours of the night about, Terry, do you know someone who could do this? Can you do? That's my give back to my community, that I've made it. And you know what? I don't forget where I come from. And I understand where I am is a privilege.
And hold that thought, because I will be coming back. And that's one of the questions I will have for all of you later on. Cynthia, give us a little brief synopsis of who's inspired you to be the woman that you are today. You're muted. You got to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Many people say their mother, and I have to say my mom. My mom's a single parent, and she raised 3 girls. And I've just watched her, and just to be that go-getter, and that's why I'm here now, being her caregiver. She's my ace boon coon. And anytime I had a show, my mother was there. She was my cheerleader. I mean, anything I do, if I say I'm going to be on Zoom, oh, can I watch it later? And she just gets so excited. And I tell you, Alyson became even closer to my heart when she invited not only me out one Mother's Day, but my mother as well, because that's how you get to me, really, just being good even to my mom. Right. That's my girl. So, and I'm going to have to say God as well.
Absolutely.
The radio show came to me in my sleep. Yes, I did have an event called Front Stage Fridays before, but this is Front Stage, 2 A's in stage. So this stage can be big enough for everyone. I love to help people. Actually, when I first went to college, I wanted medical administration, but when I had to dissect the rat, I said, forget it. I did the frog, but I wasn't going to do the rat. So I changed majors. So I try to figure out how can I help people. So training, I get to help, and here on my show, I get to help people. I'm just going to say this. When I first started the show, when I was doing the advertising, somebody said, well, you're the host, it's your show. Why are you so little? Or why do you have John on the right and saying his name first? Or Alyson big on the fly? I'm so used to being a promoter and putting other people out. So people will know who I am. They'll know you founded it, the program. They'll know that you produced it. I'm not even in it for that. You know what I mean? People will figure out who you are and what you do. So if I want to help people, it doesn't matter who's largest on the flyer, who's this and who's that. That's just what I do. So I'm getting a kick out of this, helping everybody that I can. And I've always been a connector, Terry. I just heard you say this all my life so much that one of my girlfriends called me up and she said, girl, she said, I just read about you. I said, what? I was so nervous about what she said. I just read this book. She said, you're called a connector. And she talked about you going, most people, if they go 5 people back, your name is there. And I'm starting to realize that is what's happening, because that's just what I like to do. It comes naturally to me. I don't hoard numbers. I don't hoard connections. I like to see people really, really connect. And that's what it's been so far on this show. We've been doing a lot of connecting and, as you say, networking. And it's just something that I love to do. I don't sing. I don't do any of that. I don't even know how I met the people I met. I don't. Sometimes.
Well, it's part of the promotion game. That's what happens. There's so many people that I've met in my life, and it's a beautiful thing. And you know what's so funny? I'm going to go to somebody else, but piggybacking off what you said about Alyson and the connection with your mother. Alyson and my mother are born on the same day. And when my mother transitioned, Alyson was right by my side and helped me deal with my my grieving period. So I understand what you mean, everything when you talk about with Alyson. And Alyson, I'm going to come back to you since you're the co-host. I'll let you go last, and I'm going to go to Lisa, and then I'll ask Audrey. So Lisa, tell me what inspired you to be the woman that you are to this day. You're muted.
Lisa, you're muted.
Sorry. I
That's
can't
all right.
people do that.
There you go.
Anyway. So I have to say, I'm not a singer. I'm not, and I love you women. Oh my gosh, amazing. I my heart is so full. Listening to your stories and what you've done and connecting with Alyson. And there's a reason we all connect. I'm not a singer. I'm an inventor. I'm born in London, raised in Brooklyn in the house by West Indian parents.
Okay.
So my people who I've always followed, who inspired me, were my mother and my grandmother. I had a dad, I had uncles and all that stuff. But my mother and my grandmother inspired me to be who I am, the person I became. I have children. I have 3 children, and I've always invented products, things. I'm a solution-oriented person. I solve problems every single day. That's who I am. That's what I do. And I love doing it. And I love your stories, Cynthia and Terry and Audrey. Love everything that you talk about as a woman. That's innately, we have it. So that's a no-brainer. We automatically, instinctively have those things, the tools that we have, Audrey, to create and to crochet and do all of the things that you do. And Terry, all of the things that you do to connect people. I'm the same thing. Not only do I have Inventing A to Z, I'm the only woman who looks like me, CEO and founder of Inventing A to Z, inventing products from concept to fruition, from a napkin idea, from just an idea, all the way to the marketplace. I'm talking QVC, HSN, Shark Tank. I do that. You'll only see me doing this.
That's what's up.
In addition to that, I have a foundation which Alyson is ensconced in. It's called AOE, the Association of Women Inventors and Entrepreneurs, where Alyson comes and sings every year at our conferences without fail. She sings, she elicits excitement and happiness. And that's what I do. I was born to help people succeed, much like you, Terry, Cynthia, and Terry. All of you women here today, just like Alyson does. I was born to help people succeed and connect other people and lift them up. My mission statement is lifting each other up 2 hands at a time. And sometimes you got to use your foot, and bridging the gap between ambition and success. And there is a gap. There is a gap. And what I try to do is bridge that gap, because there should be no gap. I'm the only person at QVC for the 25 years who looks like me, who keeps my foot in the door. I say I break off my shoe heel, I leave it in the door, and I keep on going.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Audrey, please tell us about who inspired you to be the woman that you are. And, you know, I'll talk about this real quick. You and Alyson are singers. And my mother was a singer, and my father played, the piano, and God didn't bless me with that talent. I guess he wanted me to have 9 out of 10. He didn't want to give me 10. So I say all that to say that I probably would have been Eddie Kane or David Ruffin somewhere later. You know what I mean? Who knows what would have happened if I'd have got that? My hair would have really blown off. But so please let me know what inspired you. And Allie, I want you to piggyback after Audrey, like to get in the stage to finally to realize that you can sing. And then you have multiple talents. Like Allie, you're a designer. You know, people have talked about how you fix their apartments up and things of that magnitude and stuff like that. So go ahead, Audrey, please enlighten us. And then Allie, follow, please.
So for me, I know everyone has said their mom, and I don't want to sound like, I don't have the imagination to say something else. But honestly,
It's
it
real
was my
talk.
mother.
Say what you feel. It's
My
real talk.
mom raised 8 children, 5 girls,
Oh, okay.
2 boys. She played piano, but that's about the most musical that there was in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is from the West Indies and my father's from the South. So I kind of got a little bit of both. And
Right,
I was the 4th child. And I had a sister who, when we were younger, she was a singer. She was
okay.
the singer. We sang backgrounds. She was the singer.
Okay.
But for me, it was a dream. I wanted to do what my big sister was doing. And then my mom was always the one that was more practical. My dad was more of a dreamer. And once I got to the point, I think when I was about 10, my next door neighbor asked me to be in a cotillion and sing a song. And that's when they first found out that I could even sing. And then at 14, my mother snuck and let me be in a band with boys, because I went to Catholic school where, my father
So did I.
my father was like, you want to be in a band? He was like, boys gonna be there? I said, yeah, the band. He said, well, you can't do it because the boys were gonna be there. So my mother snuck and let me do it. And she hid it from my dad, and that's the first time she heard me sing at 14, which was Sweet Thing of all songs. And how crazy is that? But for me, I just the people person aspect of what all of us women seem to have. Some people don't understand that, and I'm sure y'all can relate to it. I have a motherly thing. I could be in a store. I'm the person who someone's going to come up to and say, "Ma'am, do you think this matches? Do these things go together?" Or it just happens to me at airports. If people see me crocheting in the airport, they're like, "What are you making?" It's just that there's that thing, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, in regards to a racial strife and the things that we're hearing and seeing, for me, I've always been a person who's been upfront about it, and I've always tried to encourage other people. Let's all talk. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know this about Black people. I don't know this about white people. But sometimes when you do that, and you're, like I said, a people person, it's taken the wrong way. So, and this industry can do that too. It kind of makes you shut down to not being so open. And so I'm looking at this pandemic in that positive way, as this was a time for me to sit home and just be home and say, now all the things that you complained about, traveling, flying here, going to hotels, you're missing it. And you're missing people, that whole aspect of it. So I'm trying to find a way to look at the message that I think my mom who's in heaven would want, my dad who's in heaven would want. It's just I'm trying to find a way to find the positive, make lemonade out of lemons. So that's what the crochet thing turned into. And I never, like I said, Alyson tried to hook me up with a boutique to try to put my stuff in there and meet the person. Of course, we canceled the meeting a couple of times, and literally like a week later, the pandemic happened. So it was just like
that. And that's why I say it's all about timing.
Timing.
Before, and when she speaks to the other person, we're talking about Princess. Princess Bill, Princess Jenkins from the Brownstone.
Yes.
She is so well ensconced in Harlem and in her business. When I said I have a friend named Audrey, she said, "Well, where's she at?" Basically. And she's done that with another friend as well. Where are they? This other person lives out of state, but at the end of the day, I know it will happen because she wants to give people the experience of being able to have it, whether they win or lose at it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If it goes in for one season and it's not your thing, fine, but that's an experience that you'll have, and somebody of color that looks like you gave you that. Because you can't go a lot of places and let somebody else try to give you something. They're not going to do it. And if you don't make them a dime and make it quick, then it's going to be, out with you. Whereas I know how Princess, her heart is to show you what that business is like. Because one day you might not just be the person who's putting something in her store to sell it. You might have your own store.
Absolutely.
That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to show people how to do it for themselves. So it's gonna happen.
And give back. Absolutely.
And when that time comes, it's gonna happen. I want to just piggyback on that question, Bill. I had a really great experience to have parents that were willing to say, "Go ahead and follow your dream." They didn't try to say, "Well, you know, why are you going to show business? You can't. Oh, that's not going to be good. You going to college, and that's that." Well, they let me go to college. They were like, "You going to school? You gonna get an education." But at the end of the day, I got to follow my dream, and it's taken me around the world. And put me in the paths of wonderful women like Cynthia and Lisa and Audrey and Terry. So
that's beautiful. I mean, the beautiful thing is I love the bond that all of you have, the accolades that you're sharing with about each other and for Alyson. And it's the beautiful thing because this is Women's Month, and I'm sure you feel like that every month and every day about each other. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, let me ask you all this question, and I'll start with you, Cynthia, and I'll go to Audrey and Lisa, then Terry. And Alyson, you, of course, you'll piggyback on it. Being a woman of color, what obstacles, or were there people out here that really were trying to stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams? You understand? And the reason why I'm saying that, because I understand, and Terry, you helped me out with this from being in that. I say that because I remember with my wife, being in the corporate world. Her boss at the time put somebody in from LA to be her supervisor when they were peers when she should have been a supervisor. I had a friend of mine that was a big wig at Fox, and she was next up to be in charge. And they sent somebody from LA to be in charge. And it's always a lot of times we put people, I don't want to say a lot of times white people put other people men in front of women. You know what I'm saying? For reasons like that. So I was just trying to find out with you ladies, has there been anybody, or not anybody, just what experiences and how have you overcome those experiences to persevere in the careers that you wanted and be excellent and professional at what you do? And I'll start with you, Cynthia, and Alyson. Of course, you bring it up on the end. I think you muted, Sin. That's all right.
Thank you. I thought you could read my lips. But yeah, so I'm going to say this. You said Caucasians, what white people may have been a roadblock. It's been my sisters that have been, when I'm saying my sisters, not my blood sisters, but others.
People of color. I mean, and Cynthia, I'm going to stay with you on that too. And we're going to go around and we're going to chime in. But you know what's so funny? A lot of times somebody would always say a white person would do that. But sometimes you're right. And I want you to really elaborate on that. Because it's people of color sometimes that are stabbing us in the back or in the stomach. Face.
Because I'm going to say this. I did share that coming up. My mom was a single parent. I'm not going to say I never had a dad, because I did have a dad. He's deceased, and it was just an early breakup. So my mother had one sister. I had one sister in school. And so she was able to get some aid. And she graduated early. So I thought I was going to go to college next. And because my senior year, I only had one class. But my mother said, I giggled too much or whatever. She made some excuse where I couldn't graduate early. So my next year, she was upset. I saw her praying, crying, because she didn't know how I was going to go to college. So I went to the guidance counselor and I tried to figure this thing out. And so I ended up in this pageant called the Junior Miss Pageant. I was the first Black in the pageant, but that's not what I'm getting to. When I ended up going to school in Montgomery, Alabama, a Christian school where 3 Blacks graduated. It was called Huntington College. So I'm in the cafeteria eating, and they called my name 5 times to be on the homecoming court. So when I'm moving forward, I was the first Black at this school to be on the homecoming court. So my experience at one point, it was a good and bad. They wouldn't put us in the Montgomery Times like they normally would, because the white donors would not donate. So they couldn't do that. But it was my student body that voted me in. So, and that's because I was being me. So sometimes being you will get you in around Caucasians. I think it's us who's trying to be them, and we're not different, doesn't get us in. But my own, right here where I live, I even talked to a female one time. I said, let's do this together. I'm doing something, they're doing something. And I'm thinking, oh, we could really make this thing happen. But sometimes people think you're competitive. And sometimes these people are they're younger than me. And I'm saying, I just want to help. I just have fun helping. And what I appreciate Alyson, because she's there, and I am older than Alyson. But you would think she's older the way she always talks to me and the knowledge that she has and everything. But she was there. She never looked at anything as being competitive. She's always looked at us as helping each other. And that's just what I like to do. And my mother will even share those stories that I like to help. I mean, when I used to babysit and had my little babysitting money, I used to buy stuff for the kids that I was babysitting in the neighborhood or something like that. So it just warms my heart to help. I don't want anybody to take advantage of me, but that's just something I like to do. So again, I've had more problems with people of color because they didn't understand why I was being kind. It was almost like when a telemarketer calls you and you're saying, oh, it's free. Oh, something must be going on because it's free. You know what I mean? I don't know.
What's so funny,
it's a catch. And it's a catch to it because you're being nice to me and you want to help me. There's a catch to it. And that's what some people think. But we talk about being Christians. We talk about being all that and what we're supposed to do. So I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Plus, it just comes natural because I love it. I love to love. You'll get a tear out of my eye in a minute. I love to love, and I love having good girlfriends. You know what I mean? And I saw what happens when you don't. If you watch the Wendy Williams, you'll see that she didn't have us. And for me to have a sad moment, and I can call Alyson or some of my other friends, and talk about something I want to do. No, I'm not going to steal your idea. I'm going to help you with your idea. I'm going to help you to enhance your idea and then figure out how we can help each other in doing this. And that's what has happened with me with Alyson. Alyson, I love you so much.
I'm gonna sit here and count how many times y'all have said my name. I'm gonna be rich by the end of the
But
day.
you should
listen. It's a woman's show, but they're making it an Alyson celebration. You ain't going nowhere, are you, Allie?
I'm fitting to say.
Well, you know what? So you ladies are gonna think I'm crazy when I say it already, but you know how you can just feel it. So Terry, I already know I love you.
Yeah,
I know I love you.
Yeah.
When I get my hat from Audrey, I'm gonna love Audrey.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, not getting away from your question, Bill, on having had the experience where someone was put ahead of you when you know you were just as qualified or you were standing right there the whole time.
Right.
The thing is, Audrey, Cynthia became a client of Audrey because I said to her, oh, well, we're going to have her on the Girl Chat Corner. She needs to promote her brand, and she's a girl, and she can chat. Right. And you asked me to, you asked me to who I could bring on and who would have an interesting story and what have you. So, of course, I thought immediately of Audrey. And then just because she looked, and because she's a shopaholic, but she looked, and saw that she had some pretty stuff, she went and ordered. I didn't know that Cynthia had, she did, she might have told me, I forgot, that she had ordered a hat and a scarf set, but that's paying it forward because my sister got a sale out of that. And that's not what I called. I didn't say, Cynthia, go get a hat and a scarf. Because I could have.
I didn't even put it together at one point. I just saw it on your page. Right. You got one.
Know.
So I said, oh, I didn't even think about it that Audrey was coming on. I really saw the product. So mine was the product first. And then afterwards, it took me a minute to put it together, to be honest with you. I just wanted that hat and scarf. I wanted everything.
There's a sickness there. It's all right.
But I really wish I could wear that dress behind her. I think one leg can get in it, but I would still like it.
Well, we're gonna have Audrey show her stuff a little bit later, but I do want to, Bill, who did you want to go to with that question?
We can go to Audrey right now, and then we'll go to Lisa, and then we'll go to Terry.
So Audrey, the question was, have you ever experienced, being overlooked or deliberately someone, putting someone in front of you when you were qualified to do it?
Well, the business that you and I are in, that is the nature. It is a very competitive business, And in the beginning, I have to say, and I know Alyson, it sounds like we're doing a This Is Your Life with Allie, but for me, Alyson didn't have to be as friendly as she was. She didn't have to be as open as she was. And we started doing backgrounds together, but she could have called there was a million singers that we all started with. And that was unusual for my parents loved Alyson because see, I was a little more sheltered. I didn't live in Manhattan. Alyson did. And so I always looked up to Alyson because her stage presence is impeccable. I'm not that. Yes. Awesome. I have my voice. I can sing. I know how to entertain. But Alyson will talk to the audience. Some people just have that natural thing. And so it's funny because Alyson, I'm going to tell this story. She's going to laugh. I told you there was a story where someone said, so are you and Alyson, y'all still cool? Are y'all cool? And I was like, I think we're still cool. Why? Did you hear something? Instead of me letting it go into something, which is what we do as women or as people, I just called her. And I was out shopping. And I said, hey, girl. She said, hey. I said, we started talking about little weather, different things. And I said, so look, I got a question for you. Are you mad at me? Are we cool? And she said, yes, I am mad at you. And blah, 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 blah. And we laughed about it. And then we talked for 5 seconds about that and then just moved on. There are people, Alyson, if you remember, I met Robin Dunn through you. And the way that I met Robin was a dance class at Broadway Dance. And it was not a, what's the word I want? She had dated someone that I was dating at the time. So there was this thing. And Alyson was like, look, you two need to go in the restroom and go talk. And she came up to me and said, I dated him for all of 2-3 weeks. Girl, that's your man. Don't even trip. I'm not upset with you. Don't worry about it. So as far as whether this industry, whether there have been people, there have been producers who have used me on productions and maybe possibly offered a deal to someone else that I sang with. And it makes you say, well, wow, maybe they didn't like my voice, or maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, or whatever. So it's more things like that. You have to overcome that all the time because some people in this industry that I'm in are competitive. They are the first ones to want to sing and raise, it could be not even called for. And you sometimes have to stand next to them and sing with them, but you still have to have that bond so that your blend is good because, you're the unit that was hired for that particular gig. So I have experienced it. And I think that goes back to my mom being raised with, there's 5 girls in my family. And, my mother was always like, you talk a lot about the industry and your friends and this person and that person, but don't forget you have 4 sisters. And now that I'm older, that's who I'm leaning on. All of the friends that you make, the acquaintances that are cool with you and they hang out with you. But when you have illness or sickness in your family or your health or your family's health, you end up realizing, which is what my mother always wanted, it's about blood. Not that it's not about friends, because there's people that are your friends, like I said, that you don't have to talk to every day. You could, if I talk to Alyson, we get on the phone and we go right into this thing that we did when we first met. I have about maybe 5 friends like that I don't have to talk to them for 2 years. And we get on the phone and it just goes right back into, girl, let me tell you what happened, baby. And
and we're very blessed if we have that man.
Yeah, you're right.
We're very right.
It's not a thing. You didn't call me yesterday. You got to call me. I didn't hear from you. You didn't call me on my birthday. That stuff is, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but
high maintenance.
If you have love for people, it should stay in that same place, because people grow. Some people have marriages, have children, lose parents, people change. So for me, yes, I have had to overcome that. And that's where you have the self-strength to say, I'm going to believe in myself and I'm just going to do what I know I can do. I know this is my lane vocally. This is my lane music-wise. This is what I can do. And I'm not going to let anyone tell me that I can't. So I try to keep that. It doesn't always work, but I try to be positive about it and remind myself of my talent.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lisa, thank you. Appreciate that. Lisa?
Yeah. So am I muted? I'm not muted, right? Can you hear me? Good. So I love hearing this. I feel like I'm in a very, very esoteric industry when it comes to inventing and HSN and QVC and all that. So have I been tried to be pushed out of where I am? 100%. I'm in an industry of white men, white males, right? So when I started, when I came out in about 1999, and my first appearance on QVC was 1999, QVC Shopping Network. Prior to that, presenting products, my own products, to the network. I brought somebody in with me who happened to be a white gentleman. My husband's Italian at the time, right? White man. I'm presenting products to, it's a long story, but if you understand what it's all about, making presentations very, very much like what you guys do, I'm sure, presenting your music in very different light. However, I was making presentations with my products, and my husband was with me. They looked at him like he was the one presenting the product. I wasn't there. So when you talk about not being seen or heard because of the color of your skin or because of your gender, oh yeah, 100%. Did I face all of it? You name it, I faced it. So yes, presenting my products, presenting who I was and am, and to this day, I'm still probably very, very one of the very few people who look like me going on those networks. So yes, did I feel like I was discriminated against? But I'm not holding anything against anybody because I kept my foot in the door. As I said to you before, I kept my shoe heel in the door and I kept on going back.
Right.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's the awesomeness of it is that with all of that adversity and those hurdles you have to, obstacles that you had to hurdle, and those, maybe snide remarks or looks that didn't, go over quite well, then you ended up being, like you said, one of the few Black females that can even step up in their office now and take who you deem valuable to the desk and say, look who I brought you today. Look at the product they've got. And before they weren't even seeing you.
And you keep on going back. My whole thing is never stop knocking on the door. Never stop picking up the phone. Never stop being.
The beauty of it is that now you're at a place where they see you coming. They're opening the door and going, hey, how you doing?
100%.
Look who it is. It's Lisa.
Yeah.
They know the power, honey. And you have the power. If you decide to, if you choose to, you have the power.
Yes.
Stop. Don't stop picking up the phone. Don't stop emailing back.
Perseverance. So Terry, please
100%.
give us some insight. You working in corporate America. Like, what is that like? How many doors have been slammed in your face, and how have you persevered?
I have so many stories. I'm sitting here listening to you ladies, and hats off to you guys. I have so many stories. And I think I was trying to figure out what is my most powerful story. And I think the first thing that happens is every CEO I've ever worked for has always said to me, you are me, like you are me. And I think that the strongest story I could give you is I worked for a company. We had 12,000 employees in 18 countries around the world. And, on the phone, I don't sound like what I look. And we had this big, huge thing in Barcelona, Spain. Alyson, you know where I'm going with this. And I organized it, and I was out there like greeting all the leaders of the company, 200 leaders. And I'm out there in the lobby. And my assistant that was assisting me for this event that I created, was a young white woman. They kept going to her. Like I just automatically going to her. And I was floored. And I was like, I could not wrap my head around it. And I was so disheartened. I was so angry. And, after that like initial meet and greet or whatever, and my CEO at the time was a Jamaican man. And, it's a $4-5 billion company. And him and I were really cool. And I said to him, I cannot believe they did that. And you know what he said to me? Make sure they never make that mistake again. Don't let them see you sweat. And, it's when you know, that, and he made them the next morning when they all like gathered in the whole meeting room. He got up there and he said, in case there's any mistake, whoever came in late or whatever, this is Terry. That's her assistant. He goes, I know that we had a little snafu in the beginning, and this is Terry. But you have to have the self-confidence to speak up for yourself and say, I'm invisible. I'm not here. Another boss, just to be really quick, a prestigious like hedge fund. I work for, the COO, and we had this thing. And when I would go out and, greet the guest or whatever, and I would go in his office and because on the phone, I'm like talking to the person, blah, blah, blah. When they get to the elevator and I say, hi, I'm Terry, they have this look like, and I would go in his office and I had the confidence to say, I got the black girl look. And he's like, they got to go. And so you just, we have to overcome it. We belong everywhere. And I think that's the thing that I keep in my head. I belong everywhere. And, no matter how someone looks at you, no matter what kind of snide remark you may hear or how someone stares at you, I belong everywhere. And no one can take that from me. No one can. I belong everywhere. And, that's has to be the attitude. Is it arrogance? I don't know. Is it thick skin? I don't know. But it's not my job to figure it out. It's their job. I belong everywhere.
Confidence.
They sound like they're about to recite something from Phenomenal Woman. This is the roll of my brow. This is the roll of my hip. Ooh, don't make me have to dip.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about being perseverance. I applaud all of you for doing that. Allie, I mean, do you want to piggyback before we go on to the next question? I want to read a comment too.
I just wanted to, we all have things that we've dealt with, but one that I think it is an incident that it gave me a different perspective of Terry's situation. When the pandemic hit, we couldn't find Terry's boss. And Terry was responsible. Like, okay, first of all, let's know this. This is how I don't know all of the intricacies and all of the small nuances and pieces of the puzzle. I thought that brokers that do, the people that do Wall Street, I thought they were all on Wall Street. I didn't think there was any other building in the world where there were brokers on the floor. I just thought it was on Wall Street, down by the book. So they're wherever they are on the east side, doing what they do in another building. And but I do realize what that temperature is in that kind of water. You know what I'm saying? I know what they do for a living. I can't articulate it, but I know now. I knew that it happened in another place. The thing is that Terry had the responsibility of trying to figure out how to displace all of these people.
In a week.
When we didn't know anything about COVID except for black people can't get it. There was all kinds of madness, and it's going to go away. And the former president was telling us it's nothing to be, it's the flu. And it came from, it was in the middle of madness. If you think about all the madness that was before we really got a handle and had to stop and go, wait a minute. So she had to get all of these people to work from home, doing something that you can't even believe that it happens any place but down there on Wall Street. I didn't know there were brokerage floors other places in the world. I mean, not in the world, but in the city. I thought it all happened there. That's where stocks and bonds and stuff happen. Not in other buildings, not in other offices, it didn't. And when she told me what she had to do to make that happen, and it was on her shoulders.
And if I had the capability to disrupt trading for my whole entire company, if I didn't have traders up and running in a week from home, but like technology, computers, they use turrets, they use things that we can't even imagine. And you have to think about this. They've changed the whole perspective. The SEC, FINRA, those kind of companies, it was unheard of for a trader to trade from home and be unsupervised. Do you understand what the pandemic has changed. Now we have traders who are sitting at home in pajamas trading with the unsupervised. This was unheard of. And the fact that a $5 billion company was put on the shoulders of little old me. Where was my boss? Home with his family, sitting on the couch. And I better have made it happen.
Wow, awesome. So this goes to my next question I have for all of you ladies. Speaking about uplifting and being positive and things of that magnitude, we have a woman of color that's the VP of the United States of America.
Yes.
So I want to know how you all felt about that, especially this being Women Month. And I'll start with you, Lisa. I'll go to you, Terry. I'll go to you, Cynthia. And Audrey, Allie, you can finish it up. So go ahead, Lisa. You're muted. Yeah, there you go.
So how did I feel? I cried. I fell down.
Mm-hmm.
How did I feel? That's a loaded question. I was filled with joy. My family was. My son is gay. He's married to, a wonderful man. I mean, so many things were. It was such an incredible release, in so many ways, to have this woman who is leadership and empowerment. It shows us how far we can go, because many of us don't know. Yes. God, like Alyson, going back to you, Alyson, I was raised by great parents who showed me that I could do anything and be anything I wanted to be with determination and perseverance, that I could climb and break through that glass ceiling. And so the question I guess you're asking is how I felt that day, I guess.
Well, how you felt. I mean, since we're talking about women empowering women, this is Women's Month. So the fact that you saw a woman of color on, becoming the first vice president of the United States, and just the first woman becoming the vice president of the United States, and a woman of color. So, I mean, just how did that make you feel?
More empowered than ever. More empowered than ever. And it allowed me to share more. Like, people still do not know how empowered they are. They don't know their skill set. They don't know that they can do anything that they set their minds to. And so that day when Kamala stood up on stage and spoke, it gave me, I felt like I was empowered to empower more women. I felt empowered by her. She spoke it into me and to many of us. And I was able to speak it into the people I knew who needed that encouragement. She elicited so much power for other women, including me.
Awesome.
I know where I'm going and what I'm going to do, but I can empower people because of her.
Thank you. Terry?
I don't even have words. I never thought in my lifetime, one, I would see a Black president and a female vice president of color. Like, no words. And the fact, like, I mean, this is a minor detail, but when she was doing the walk to the White House, and instead of taking her husband's hand, I think this was a really calculated choice on her part. She reached down and had her niece, who was a young girl of color. That's who she chose to walk to the White House with. You guys notice that? I was like, that was a calculated choice. And if you didn't cry, just seeing her with her little, like, and her husband behind her, and no words. And the fact that, like, let's not discount him. The fact that he was willing to take a back seat to let her shine. He didn't sit there and challenge her shine. He gave her 100% of shine. And I think men need to take notice. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes we can shine too. You know what I mean? If your woman shines, you shine.
I'm just playing. I know what you're saying.
I'm listening to you. But if your woman, it's okay to give your woman shine. It's okay.
And that's an excellent point, though. That's an excellent point, because some men have issues with that. They really do. And any man that's out there listening, just in a comment from a man, Michael Ferguson, he said, "Bill, great show, powerful Black women who have utilized their I should have put my glasses on, but I took them off. Who have utilized their intimate talents, which remove obstacles. So that's a beautiful thing, and that's what led me to ask that question, because most of the questions I have, they come off the top of my head from the conversations, the statements that you're saying, and that's one thing about Real Talk. It's all about being organic. So I applaud that, Terry. Like you said, the fact that he's man enough to understand that his woman is shining, and he doesn't mind taking the back seat, because you're right. There are a lot of men that can't deal with that, so I appreciate that. If you're finished, I'm gonna go to Cynthia.
Yeah, and sometimes, hey, as women, we need to understand the enemy shares the same pillow we do. And
absolutely.
So to answer that question, yes, I teared up to see it, but it was women like us that voted to put her there. So I'm going to start here with Michelle Obama. That's what excited me, because she still shared that power with us. I saw it. So I'm excited for our vice president, but I'm going to have to say that I'm going to have to wait to see how much she will help to empower women. So to see that her with the empowerment, because she is the vice president, and I'm here in Delaware where there's President Biden, of course, but I'm going to say that he still helped her get to that position. Okay. And for her to get there, we voted. So now I want to see what this sister, like, if I vote for Alyson for something, is she going to turn back around and help me? So I'm sorry, I'm not as quick to speak as everyone else. The moment, the history, yes, I teared up for the history, but I don't know enough about Audrey, Terry, Lisa to say what you're going to do for me.
Well, that's a whole nother Real Talk question now.
Yeah.
You're going down another path with it,
because my feedback is different.
I think initially you did answer the question, so it was cool. I don't mind it going down, the rabbit hole. I have no problems with that. I just wanted to, we can talk about that, but I just wanted to get your first, we were talking about empowering. We can talk about what you think she's going to do for us, because with that being said, a lot of people don't think Obama did anything for us, but the bottom line is we're still happy to see a man of color in office.
Right,
so,
I agree.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to see it.
So that was my initial question.
My sister at a corporation become president or CEO, but because she's president or CEO, is she helping me? I've been there. I had been there where I'm thinking, because the sister got there, she's like me and she's going to pull me up. So I have to see. So I'm a little.
That was the last question, though, Cynthia. That was the last.
All right, that was the last question. So I want to see where she's going to go and helping us. But the moment I cried, I think that pivotal moment that you shared with her holding the hand and walking through. But in my mind right now, when I think of someone who empowers other women, I'm still stuck on my Michelle Obama, and I have to wait to see what this vice president is going to do.
I have to interrupt for 1 second, okay? I have to interrupt, and I'm going to let you move on. But I have to interrupt because, you have inner city children, young people who do not have parents who say, okay, you can be better and do better. So looking at Michelle, looking at Kamala, looking at Barack Obama. I don't care what they've done. And some people voted because of the way they looked. And I'm happy for that. I really am. Just looking at them and our people who have nothing
to look for. Yes.
No mentors, no nothing.
Yes. Why do you say that, Lisa? You saw the Grammys. We have Cardi and Megan.
I'm just
Alyson, we ain't got 12 hours to discuss
We do not.
Well, listen, Lisa, I'm gonna listen, ladies. We're gonna get back to that. I'm gonna ask you what you thought of that. My God. But Lisa, I want you to finish what you're saying because I want to get Audrey's comment.
Okay.
And I want Allison's comment. Go ahead.
I had to interrupt that because I mean we are living on a whole different level, Cynthia. We're living in a different space. Okay. So when you go back to Compton and you know, and I'm not saying that you don't know, but when you go to Asbury Park, when you have like all of these young kids who don't have parents who can say, like you, Allison, you had great parents who said, you're going to go here and you're going to do this, you're going to do whatever. They supported you. There are children who don't understand that Black people can succeed.
I get that.
So sometimes the color supersedes what we can do. I don't even care. At some point, I don't care what they can do for young people, for people who don't have parents, who are of our skin color, right? That they think that we can't succeed because they see people on the corner drinking out of a brown paper bag, and that's all they see. They don't see those people succeed.
I get that. I get that. So no, that gives me hope.
I didn't vote for that reason, obviously, but there are young people who need to see people empowered like all of you amazing ladies and you, Bill, who look at us. Okay,
it gives me hope. But when we talk about women empowering women, I don't know if someone that I'm just when I look at them that empowers me.
Well, it's still early in the game. It's still early in the game. But I think what we were trying to get to was, how did it make you feel to just at least see into the room?
It got to my heart. I had the tears like everyone else.
Yeah. How about
you,
Audrey?
To see and to have, it gave me hope. But I get excited for other people just like you, Lisa, of what you're doing. It gives me hope. But you could be the type of person there and not reach out and pull up. Is what I'm saying. So
100%.
you may not be someone to empower me and to help me, but to look to see that you could do it may give me hope that I can do it. That's all that I'm saying, and I have to stick to it.
100%. 100%.
So I get she's defining hope versus empowerment. That's okay.
You know, like I said, I mean, just the put I want Audrey to get her shine on this, but like I was saying, I mean, for me, the question really was about seeing, this is about women and empowering, seeing another woman. Like I said, when I saw Barack running for the president, I never thought I was going to see that. My mother didn't live to see that. So the fact that I could see a man speak, a man of color be in the office, like I said, I've heard people time and time, countless arguments. Oh, what did Barack do for people of color? And I had to defend that. But what I'm trying to say is that when I go around and I speak to schools on how to interact with law enforcement and motivational speaking, and I ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? None of them say they want to be the president. And I told them, I said that was a dream that wasn't foreseen in my lifetime at one point. And then the fact that I saw a man of color that could do it, now I can tell a young Black man or a young Latin man that you can be the president of the United States. It's obtainable. So that was really the gist of my question, just about seeing a woman and the fact that you saw a woman of color that looks like you, that can sit down and report to you from an HBC school that's part of the Divine Nine. So that was my thing. I get what you're saying, Cynthia, and I don't want to take away from the politics of what you're talking about, but that's just a whole nother conversation. I just wanted to keep it on the uplifting note. We ain't got a lot of time for that. You know what I'm saying, what we're doing. So, go ahead.
I'm going on mute.
Go ahead, Audrey. So let me say the question again. How did you feel when you saw
a rough group?
So the feeling that I got, I was very empowered. She wasn't, but I was, and I was very proud that the United States finally had come out of the 19th century or whatever century they were in, and to have a woman in a leadership position. Because you have queens and, other countries have had women in power. And this is a big deal to us. And it's 2021. And that's sad. So I was on a very chill mode. I put my little pearls on. I didn't have my little skips because I don't wear sneakers, but I didn't have any. Tried to buy some. But honestly, it was a proud moment, just like you said, when Obama was in office. That was more of a shock, and that was more of a, oh my God, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But considering all that we went through to get to the final, with all of the recounting, all that this person was trying to do to stay in office, it was the final day where I could just, and even that day, that morning, I was nervous knowing what had happened on the 6th. I was just like, if we can get through this day, and I've kind of been able to chill, because it's like, I hope that she runs. I do hope that she fulfills some promises and that she does some of the things. But from what I have seen, and what just what's going on with the vaccine and the way that the world is kind of chilled, I give her credit for that, as well as Biden.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that they together, whenever she had a debate, it was just like, honestly, sister girl's gonna come out here and tear him a new one. That's how I kind of. So that's where this came in, where it was like, okay, this is not. She said, "I'm speaking. I'm speaking." That was everybody's mom. That was everybody's mom. Your mom having a conversation with you, and you try to speak, and your mother, "I'm speaking." That's what that was. So proud I was, teary-eyed I was. I was just glad to be in the moment and to see it finally happen. The fact that it was a woman and she was a sister, that was icing on the cake for me.
And you know what's so funny? I'm gonna piggyback and I'm gonna let you just close it out, Allie, on that topic. But I just want to say this, and ladies, even though it's Women's Month, 65% of white women voted for 45. So let's keep that in mind too. So there's still a separation of women. You know what I'm saying, in that aspect, because the bottom line is they sure are different. Even though I'm sure we all came out strong, and I'm sure there are a lot of white women, in respect to those that have some kind of up here, but there was still 65% of white women voted for 45. Go ahead,
I
Allie.
have an opinion about that, but we'll come back to that.
Well, that's another conversation. That's another real talk. We can get into that. But go ahead, Allie.
I was totally elated when Kamala Harris became our vice president. I was happy to see her with those 2 little girls. Everywhere she went, because she was showing them that this is possible for you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And she was showing the world, get with it, because here we are. We've been here all along, but you're going to have to hear our voices now. You're going to have to, as a matter of fact, you've heard our voices. You heard Harriet Tubman's voice. You just ignored it.
Right.
You've been ignoring our voices, and now we're coming to a place where our voices can no longer, and we will not stand for them to be ignored. So hopefully, we're in a place for change. We do have to wait and see. We do have to wait and see what this balance is going to be, or if it's going to be balanced. If President Biden's going to be able to get the job done, and Kamala's going to have a hand in it. I can tell you what people will ask: what Barack Obama, what did he do for Black people? Well, I don't know what he did. That he could have done, because his hands were tied when he came into
yes.
And if he had bullied his way through the way that our former president did, then he would have been a bad person.
Yes.
It never happened. He tried to do it in a gentle kind of way, and they wouldn't even let him get through. But one thing he didn't do, he never made us look bad. He never He spoke well all the time. He looked well all the time. He didn't get into it in petty ways with other countries and nations and leaders and talk about people and cuss and just defile the Oval Office. And lie. Being president, he's just a man. And lie. And lie to our faces. And he took the job seriously enough to at least know what he was talking about when he came out to speak.
And Allie, that is perfect. That's a perfect segue to the next question. And I'm going to start with you, and then I want Audrey, Lisa, Terry, and then Cynthia to finish it. But that's the perfect thing. Now, let's talk about, and I'm starting with you because you're an artist, you and Audrey are artists. You mentioned Cardi B and Megan Stallion. Now, let me just say this. I'm going to go on the record and say this. I'm happy for anybody of color getting money, right? But what I saw, I felt was disgusting to me. I didn't see talent twerking on the stage, right? I'd rather you just still did and just sang. That's my personal feelings, and that's what I'm going to stick with because I'm grown enough and I can say that, right? But from an artist, and this being Women's Month, right? You can produce that. Now, like I said, I'm all about them getting money. I'm so glad that these sisters are getting paid. I really am. But what I saw, I was just like, wow, this is what the Grammys is right now. This is and no disrespect to BET. I was like, I figured I could have saw that on BET or something. You know what I'm saying? But Alyson, give me your perspective. And like I said, I'm talking about from the woman's perspective, this being Women's Month. And I felt like Beyonce, she won an award for the album that she put out, or the song she put out was powerful, was uplifting. It was about from all the violence, the police brutality and things. So I felt, inspirational with that. But I just wanted to get your ladies' take on this being Women's Month and what you saw, and what do you take on it from an artist or just a woman? Whichever way you want to skin that cat. Go ahead, Allie.
So, we all have our guests, our different takes, whether we are artists or laymen of the arts, of these award shows and so on and so forth. I just think that sometimes we push the envelope really too far.
Mm-hmm.
In certain areas, and then when something happens, like I never went back to try to figure out whether Janet Jackson's breast fell out or it was already Velcro or whatever. But that seemed like it was just, oh my God, the worst thing that could ever happen is for that to have happened, and now y'all are having a twerk fest. But when it affected the audience that is, we're talking about the Super Bowl audience, which is predominantly a white audience. I'm not gonna say that we're not in there, but I'm just saying the white dollar.
Absolutely.
It was a big deal. Now, the Grammys has for many years been dominated by African American and Black music, if not by the artist, certainly by the art form.
Yes.
I couldn't find an R&B performance last night,
no,
except for Bruno Mars, who brought back some shy lights, some stylistics, some, all of those male groups that we saw do their precision moves and sing a ballad and make me feel good. I thank God for that, and some of the other tributes, but there wasn't a R&B category for me to say it was R&B music. It just wasn't. And then that's just my opinion. Now, what I thought about the performance is you can dress up a pig any way you want. It's going to be a pig.
Absolutely.
I'm not calling any of them pigs. I'm just saying that's the saying that the old people used to say.
No, absolutely.
You can get our purse, but it's still going to be a pig. You could have lipstick on a pig. What my point is, they wrapped it up in all the great costumes. They tried to make it burlesque. They tried to make it a Cotton Club stage production.
And then put tap in there. I was like, oh my God.
Which you could go to the Cotton Club and watch the girls go like this and turn around and boom, boom, boom. But it's all in how it's done. Then they put the tap in there, but what they didn't do is they didn't get good tappers. Because that Nicholas Brothers part, they failed miserably.
That's my point.
Miserably. We've watched that Nicholas Brothers routine, and what they did was not it, and it was not a good nod to it. So once you did that, and imitation is the highest form of flattery. Once you gave me some feather dances and stuff, and then you did the tap, then you did the split thing that didn't work, then everything else was a jig. Everything, the jig was up. I was like, oh, y'all are cooning now. And now you brought it to the point where we're just gonna bring you a clear platform and a pole, and that's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna bring you a bed.
And I had to start with you.
Like that. And it was like.
And I had to start with you because, like I told you before, I've been in front of the Apollo Theater arguing with Russell Simmons about he thought your stage presence was better than Patti LaBelle's back when you were with Def Jam. So I know, and I've seen you as many times as I've seen you perform. I've seen you put on a phenomenal show. I think somebody said it earlier here tonight. I don't know who it was, that how you engage with the audience. I think Audrey was saying that, and that's a given talent. Like Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh ain't had made a song in how long, but he still commands. He's still predominantly one of the best entertainers in the world.
There's a way to present your art form. I'm not saying, but what it is that we've allowed quote unquote strip culture to become the mainstream, and then we continue to push the envelope. And I just don't know I don't see how anybody can say. I can't say don't do what you do, but I'm saying I don't want my 6-year-old daughter to aspire to that. And there's more of them than there are of us.
Yes.
Young people die. Young people grow up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I'm glad they're getting money. I'm glad they're finding ways to diversify themselves and do whatever they're going to do with their money. I'm hoping for an elocution class somewhere so we can get our words together and speak like You know, because everybody wants to say, oh, well, this one was in school. And that, hey, honey, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. You can send a kid to college. You can't make him think.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
when you come out, how you spend that scholarship money or whatever it is you got, or whoever's paying for your tuition is all up in the song, however they got that lyric done. I'm just saying there's a limit, and we've allowed the limits to be pushed.
I agree.
I totally agree with you.
I agree.
Now you can't reel it back in, and that doesn't have anything to do with your age or anything like that.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple of young women online today, and I said, listen, I hear you and I get you, and I know you think that you feel and you're getting the point that women can be express their sexuality and their independence because they can make their own money, but still they want a man, and when they want a man, they want more of a man. They don't. All of that's good, but there's a way to present that message, and I wasn't down with the way it was presented last night on the Grammys on CBS in prime time. I know y'all waited until after 10 to try to do it, but it was just.
Exactly. Thank you, Audrey.
What happens is that
I'm sorry,
now on H, you know, because she's an H-Town girl too. I'm talking about Megan. Now I can't tell Beyonce who to endorse, but that's going to make the star. You know what happens when it gets real shiny and the stars going up? That's what everybody's going to look at. That's what everybody's going to look at.
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
When they look back down, their little girl is twerking at the birthday party.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Doing it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I know I might get a lot of backlash. People might say, well, listen, someone posted on my Facebook, you can go and find it, the Apollo. Remember when Showtime at the Apollo was a TV show? And
Absolutely.
They went back and they found 2 of my performances. And I had done Just Call My Name. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes. But that was one of the best shows I've ever done. It was like a master class of what you do with a stage. It was really, really, and I'm hard on myself. I don't care to listen. I don't care to look that much. I really want, you know, if everybody else says they were touched, then I've done my job. But look at that performance, and then look at the reaction of the crowd. And it was sexy, and it was sensual, and it was all of those things. Go find the Just Call My Name from Showtime at the Apollo. For me. And I'm not saying it just because it's me, because I've seen other great performances on that stage.
Absolutely.
But that I'm just saying that's what I look for in entertainment, you know.
Absolutely. I thank you. Appreciate that. Audrey, what's your take on it? You're an artist.
Well, I first of all, I try to support the music shows because that's what we do. And
right.
For years I've watched it. It's just not the same. You used to have the whole family would say, "Oh, the Grammys are on tonight. We gotta eat dinner. We're gonna eat dinner early. We're gonna watch the Grammys. We're gonna get," because that was the opportunity to see us. That was the one thing they could not. We might not have a whole show, but we're gonna have this one R&B section where we're going to get to see the artists that we like. So for me, I was embarrassed. I felt old. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm getting old because this girl is on the floor twerking, and she's wearing a thong, a bathing suit, basically. And this is the standard. And the sad thing is that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If they don't show us, then we'd be complaining that they don't show the R&B folks. And I'm sure that's what they're thinking. They're probably the show people, the people that produce the show, probably like, that's how she want to come out. If that's what they want to do and look a fool, now you looked at the country artists. The country artists were in a semicircle, and they all highlighted and sang different. There's a show in England like that. I know, and Alyson knows what I'm talking about, where you go to England and you stand on this in this room, and everybody's on different parts of the stage. And the MC, the host of the show, goes from one person to the next, and everybody performs. And I really, really appreciate it. I want to say one thing that Alyson, you left out. I really loved Lionel Richie's portion. I loved how he did the tribute. He sang the song. I hadn't heard him sing live in a minute. And there were certain aspects of that where but that's old school. Lionel Richie's older than me, so
Exactly.
yeah. So it was in that way.
But I mean, even in the country and Western vocal, I saw people actually singing. I know when people are singing and not
Absolutely.
singing, and I know why. I know the reason why sometimes they want to have a pre-recorded track.
Right.
You know,
because
I know why there's a microphone this way, this close to your face. It's because it's kind of like we can get around certain things. I get it. I get the production value of it. But
me too.
We gotten to the point where you can't get a real note or a real song.
Well, Alyson, the thing is, if we're honest,
you're rolling on the ground, and it goes from being a sexy erotic dance to just being a sex act, and it's like.
But the thing is, for us, these are not singers. That's another.
These
are rappers. These are people who talk for a living. And
but
they're labeled singers.
You said, damned if you did, damned if you don't. Do you remember the year when rap first was going to receive, had a category, and they weren't going to show them?
They didn't show them. I don't think they showed them. Yeah.
They didn't. You're right, Bill. They didn't.
They didn't show them. They didn't show them.
No, they didn't. But I'm just saying, the rap people went up in arms, and they
and rightfully so.
And it's been on that trajectory ever since.
But
at least they spoke up for themselves. Do you know how many jazz artists won awards last night? Do you know that Ledisi won a Grammy for best traditional R&B? We wasn't gonna see it.
And
Tiffany Haddish won.
That's right.
Some gospel artists won. There's so many categories, and from what I understand, I don't even think they have a smooth jazz category anymore. I think they did away with it.
I think they don't. Jazz. You're right. So it's just what I'm trying to say is I get offended when I see people come on talk shows and they're rappers and they say, so how did you learn how to sing? And it's just like people think that you're being bitter or you're being old or old school, but it's like, that's not singing. This whole notion of holding your ear and rapping and do that. That's what we singers do when we're singing in the room to try to match ourselves sometimes. There's a reason we're doing it. They're doing it for a look sometimes. And so for me,
well, why is the microphone up here? Why are you singing?
Why are you covering your mouth?
All kinds of affected situations that people do and what have you. But I mean, past that, I can remember what it is that what I hope for is that as these artists have their 15 minutes, please have your 15 minutes, but learn. Go back and get what you don't have and realize that you don't have it, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline and what have you to get to where you are.
Right.
And I think there are a lot of people that might be a little better at it, but this is your time. What's for you is
enjoy
for you.
it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. And remember that what's out there, especially because of the internet, what's out there for you right now, what you put into the world is there forever.
And that's why I said I was happy that they getting paid. You know what I'm saying? They're not on the streets robbing and stealing and killing anybody. But I just felt it was a sad presentation of the talent. We got a few. We're going on the swing of the nine. I mean, no, we got it's 9, almost 9:50. So I want the rest of the ladies to get this question, to answer this question, and then I have one question that I want to ask you all at the end. So Lisa, what was your take on the show? And then Terry, and then Cynthia. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet. Okay, so I always see things. I look at these women and I look at wasted talent. Okay, I look at how they can be making a change. You know how we say we stand on the shoulders of our sisters and all ancestors. To me, I look at these women. I'm not a singer. I'm not that. That's not my talent. But I look at these talent, these artists, and I say, why are they not using this platform to show more than booty shaking? Intelligence, integrity. Stand on a platform where you could teach your little sisters, our sisters, how to be more than just that. While you're there, yes, you have this artistry, but let's show other people who look at us like that's all we can do. Is that because many people think that's all you can do. I don't want that. I don't want to be looked at like that's all I can do is stand up and do this, twerk. I don't want to be looked at like that. Absolutely. Use your vocal talents like you have, Alyson, like you have, and all of you other ladies, but use it for the greater good. You have this amazing platform. Show your sisters and brothers that you could be more than just that. and I'll keep this moving. I can't wait to be on another show, Bill, because I got a lot to say.
Oh no, listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a statement. A statement after this. But go ahead, Terry.
I am bursting at the seams about this. First of all, I am going to say this one thing that you can't take away from Cardi B. She is a branding genius.
Well,
and when I first saw her on Love and Hip Hop, I said, that little girl is going somewhere. Now, I am honestly shocked at where she's gone. I just thought it wouldn't be so left. And I really had hopes that, like, she would be something for people to look up to. And I really believe in the heart of hearts that it's not her, it's the people behind her. And I know for a fact, if you ever listen to any of her interviews or anything, she's extremely driven. She's not as dumb as she comes across. She's actually extremely intelligent. And I just believe that they know there's this short window for what they do. And so what they do is they do everything they can. They're not concerned about longevity or quality of what they're doing. They're concerned about this window and the money. They know they have to hit it and quit it. And
Terry, you know, just to piggyback off what you're saying, I think Allie and Audrey, you just give my head nod because I want to keep Terry and then go to Cynthia. But what was the life expectancy of a rapper was like 5 years. So I don't even know anywhere for R&B singer or somebody else. It's probably like 2 albums or maybe 3 if he's lucky back then. So you're totally right, Terry, on what you're saying. And I think she's definitely a marketing genius because the bottom line is the evolution of the rapper is to do something else. And I think hopefully she's stacking up her chips because the bottom line is, you know, she's not going to be on twerking at 50 years old because people will throw eggs at her. You know what I'm saying? But she's making commercials with people that she's probably never even met or heard of before in her life. So we definitely applaud the money getting Cardi B and the Megan. And I want to read this statement from Stephanie before I read some of the other comments. And I'm coming to you, Cynthia, if you're finished, Terry. Cynthia said, Megan twerks, but she's also a college student. So there's a duality there. I mean, we're not saying she's stupid. We just saying we just think it's stuff that we just don't appreciate the performance, especially when like it's, you know, Black History Month. I'm not going on TV or I'm not going to speaking engagements and start using the N-word. So I think the moral of my story is, you know, this is about women. For me, March is about, you know, women promoting women. And I just thought it was a poor display of her promoting women. So Terry, if you're finished, I'm gonna go to Cynthia. If you're not, if you have any more.
Nope. Okay. I that's all I gotta say.
Go ahead, Cynthia.
Well, I texted a friend last night, and I just said I hope the children are sleeping. So that's all I can say. And one word, disgusting. I have nothing else to say.
Awesome. So my last question, I just want to read some of the comments before I ask you ladies my last question. Kiera said, great show. Enjoy these ladies. Blessings, everyone. My man Mark said, yes, I feel what she's saying. A great show, bro. Love hearing women's stories of success. I hope the young audience gets the picture. Keep doing what all you ladies are doing. He said, wait, how would they feel? Oh, this was a question. We're going to come back to this and I'll get it to you. But you don't answer it, ladies. Please don't answer it. But the question Mark has said, he said, how would y'all ladies have felt if Candace Owens was the VP? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother topic. We ain't got that kind of time. Colin said, great show, Bill and Alyson. Ladies, thanks for sharing your stories. Like I said, I mentioned what Stephanie has said. Stephanie said, I think it was just a chance of the change of the times. Twerking is the thing now. I get it. Mark said, absolutely appreciate Alan and Audrey's perspective. Okay, like I said, we got 5 minutes to go. Ladies, if you could give some encouraging words to the listeners out there, what inspirational would you say? You know, I'll start with you, Cynthia. I'll work clockwise. I'll go with you, Cynthia. I'll go to you, Terry. Then I go to Lisa, Audrey, and Alyson. Of course, I'll let you finish out. But if you could give some positive affirmation to somebody, thank you all for being on Real Talk Chronicles. I'm going to extend the olive branch. Wednesday, I'm having a talk Real Talk, another Real Talk Chronicles show, but I'm doing it in the law enforcement aspect where we're talking about kind of like a Zoom town hall kind of thing where talking about, civilians, what they could do to make change in law enforcement. And we're going to have some law enforcement officers on the show. So some of you ladies that if you're feeling like you can want to delve into that comment, let me know after we go into the green room. We can discuss that later. But Cynthia, give us some positive affirmation before we get out of here. Please, we got everybody before we get out of here by 9. So keep it like 2 minutes. And then we go to Terry, Lisa, Audrey, and Allie. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Okay, just real short. Just believe in yourself, but edify someone else. And that's how I feel. So believe in yourself and edify someone else.
Awesome.
And let someone edify you. Because if you brag on yourself, it doesn't have that much credibility. If you sit back and you just listen to all of us just edifying Alyson, and it gives her even that much more credibility than her sitting back and bragging on herself. So find friends and surround yourself around people that will edify you and not down you. And I think that helps to empower each other as well.
That's awesome. We're going to come back to you, Cynthia, so you can leave your information and tell people where they can reach you and find out anything about you. But I just want to let all you ladies to give your positive affirmations out first. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead, my party friend.
I think that I would want sisters to really understand this one thing. We are beautiful. We are smart. We have the resilience of ages, and we belong everywhere. Don't ever. This is the thing. If you see a beautiful restaurant, the one thing you can always do, you may not be able to afford the dinner, but you could always buy a drink at the bar. We belong everywhere.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Lisa?
Mute.
There you go. Well, I know one of the positive affirmations, you're going to teach people how to unmute themselves.
Unmute yourself. So my thing is, hope, please, really, just lift each other up 2 hands at a time. Don't knock your sisters down. Lift them up 2 hands at a time. And sometimes you got to use that foot.
That's awesome. Thank you. Audrey?
As we go around, Bill, we definitely want everybody to leave their information. Or
we're gonna come back after you, Allie. We're gonna come back.
I'm gonna give my 2 minutes to Audrey because she made me this beautiful cowl, and she's she's got her company, and so I want her to say what she's got to say about empowerment, and then let her start with and you can find me here at. Okay.
Got you.
All right. Here you go, Audrey.
So for me, what I think I would say to young people is actually lift each other up and always remember you don't know everything. So every day, try to learn something new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always try to learn something. Don't stay stuck in what you think you know. Oh, I already did that. Open your minds and learn something. And that's it. I'm taking that from myself because I've had to know that. You think you know everything and you have to learn that you don't.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. So now, everybody, Audrey, we're going to start with you, and then we're going to go to Lisa. We're going to go to Terry, and we go to Cynthia. If people, and then we'll finish with Allie. Audrey, tell people where they can find you. Where can they hear anything that you've made, your music? Where can they purchase your clothing, anything? If your social media, please send me a friend request. We're going to talk about it after in the green room, in the Real Talk room. But Audrey, give us whatever you want people to have, please.
So I re-recorded a song of Shaka's I'm working with a group called Input Output. They're on YouTube. You can find them. It's a bunch of great musicians, great performers who play with everyone. And they have a new release coming out this Friday. That's the song that I'm singing on. I'm not going to say it's called Close the Door. It's an old school Shaka song. As far as my knitwear goes, you probably won't be able to see it. It's by Audrey Designs, and I spell it BYAUDRIE.
Say it again for the slow.
By Audrey, which is BYAUDRIE _crochet_designs. That's on Instagram. On Facebook, it's just by Audrey Designs. And
awesome.
I have loads I'm always coming up with new things. I take suggestions. If there's something you want to copy, you have an outfit that's your favorite outfit and you want to, can you make this? That's the beauty. You can match your shoes, you can match your scarf, you can do whatever you want in regards to color as well.
Well, I know one thing. Hold on, Allie, let me just say this. I know one thing. Whatever you made, Audrey, that scarf or whatever Alyson had around her neck, it must be real warm and hot because she took it off fast. And
it is so hot. I'm telling you, it is double thick, and hers has a little wool in it. It is.
But this is what I wanted to add. People don't think that just because we're coming into spring that it's too hot to have these things, because this is the perfect kind of thing. If you know, she makes all kinds of shawls and things and wraps, so that when you just want that lightweight but still give yourself a little, a little protection against the elements, right in this middle time, she's got that for you. This just happened to be
this
mine.
Can be made in cotton.
It took a long time to get it.
This can be made in cotton. This is not cotton. This is a tweed mix. It can be any two colors you want. It could be orange and black. It could be white and purple. That's the beauty.
It's got all the colors. It's good.
So just go on Instagram and check it out. If you see something, hit me up, DM me, and I'll work on it right away.
That's like everybody. That's Audrey Wheeler Downing. Come on, Lisa. Tell us where they can find you, and if somebody has something they want you to help them with, let's go. Give it to them, sis.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you have an invention idea, anything, a product, you're an entrepreneur, you need help, email me, info@inventingatoz.com. That's info@inventingatoz.com. My website, inventingatoz.com.
Awesome. Terry, if somebody wants to learn about Fortune 500 company, women want to get into the corporate world like you have, where can they reach you and get some kind of inspiration, some advice, some guidance?
Absolutely. If you have a resume you like me to look at, if you want some advice or pointers, or you just need some insight. And like I tell young women all the time, how I've got where I've got is you have not necessarily a college degree. I don't have a college degree, but if you're smart, intuitive, and resourceful, this is an amazing career for you. And I can be reached at TerriLMiller091@gmail.com. And I love looking at resumes, tweaking them, giving you, I have a whole list of headhunters. But honestly, for women of color, this is an amazing career. Amazing.
Wow.
Awesome. Cynthia, please let them know where they can find you. Listen, you're a promoter, you're an event planner, you got your own stuff going on. You're like me, a jack of all trades and a master of all. How about that?
I know, and I don't have West Indies in my family like Lisa and Audrey, and I'm done.
Exactly.
I'm going to do some research because I think I might, maybe, with everything that I do. But you can find us on Front Stage Radio Show on Facebook. Just starting out. So the website's not there. I mean, we start moving really quickly with this dream. So Front Stage Radio Show on Facebook, and join us there. Even on Thursday at 7:00. That's Eastern time, and you'll see how much fun we're going to have.
And I'm coming in one day, Cynthia, when you have me, and I'm giving real talk.
Okay, yeah. So we definitely want that to happen.
Don't hold me back. Don't hold me back, chair. I'm ready.
And if you just want to come in and join when you know someone's there that you like to meet, we have our VIP passes. We're going to ask you just to sit back and not say anything, but just come on in the Zoom room with us. And then at the end, when we play our little music, the party too, at the end, you get to party with us. You be here like this. Okay. But you can come on in the party and have some fun with it. We have a fun theme song. We come on and we party and we go off. We always go off partying, celebrating birthdays and whoever has a VIP pass. So you always have a VIP pass. Alyson, Terry, and Lisa, and Audrey. It's a platform for all of you. Okay.
Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you. So even if you're not on our girl chat or anything, you say, I'm just coming on, Allie. You want to be there? I'm coming in. Then after we turn off the cameras and we're in the green room, as you said, we have a good time. So come in anytime. If you see there's somebody you've been trying to reach, you just want to say hi to, please come in. We're going to let you in.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to ask Alyson to do, of course, we're going to let her finish out. I'll finish out behind her, but I want Alyson, get their information. Audrey, I just got the friend request, but get their friend. If you are Terry, we're already friends. Send me a friend request. But Alyson, when you get a chance, get their information and then type it in to the podcast so everybody can see it who wants it, and that's a beautiful thing. And then if we could share each other's stuff, that's a beautiful thing because it's all about positivity and uplifting people.
Did you just try to recruit me for admin?
Well, hey, listen, Alyson, with all them plugs that they gave you, I figured you could at least type a couple of words and lines in there.
That's what I was saying. I said I'm obligated now.
Yeah, hold on, my man Platinum Flow. He said, "Great show tonight, Bill. Awesome to see so really powerful and amazing women in conversation. Much love and respect to everyone. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. So, hey, Alyson, give us some closing remarks. Go ahead, say
my closing remarks. I want to say that Dr. Angelou taught me when you get, give. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. That's one of the things she would say, and she would always say, never be afraid to ask for what you want. Just be prepared to pay for what you get. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of jewels that she would always give me. So I give them because I believe that we live by that. I also want to say that behind every great man is a great woman, and there's one behind Bill. And if she's anywhere, I need Malika, where's she at? Is she near?
I'm gonna get her because my wife is bad with the web design. Hold on.
It was my intention to have her as part of it, but there was so many of us, and she's incredible. First of all, she's incredible because she married Bill, and I don't know what charity work that was she was doing.
Yeah, if she can put up with me, right? She did that.
That was a crowdfunder she didn't see coming.
She's on the call. She told me, she said hello. But my wife definitely, she has an art gallery in Philly, and she also she makes web designs. She's bad. She's done it for all the corporate world. You know, she's one of the top people. And you know, like if you've seen it, if you see something on TV, it's most likely she might have did it. So my woman, she's bad to the bone, and I appreciate and I support her.
And her stuff will be in the chat too.
Yes, definitely.
I'll give a quick shout out. I love it when we do what we do, and we do what we do because we can.
Right.
But you know, I just want to speak into when we come to Girl Chat, and I know you're gonna come and be with us, Bill. But I want to extend another little invitation because Audrey got somebody special in her world that we got to invite into the chat. It don't have nothing to do with her singing. It don't have nothing to do with her knitting and crocheting. He is him and she is her, but he's my brother. And he's got a chocolate ball head. We want to see it. Mr. Will Downey, you're going to have to come and see us.
We're going to get
it. Right.
Up, baby.
Okay. That's what's up. See?
Downey is. So shout out to Will. We love you.
Thank you.
Shout out to Will.
You know I can't go without saying you. So we invited you into the Girl Chat so you can come in.
I'm going to tell you.
Say in that voice.
Actually, he was helping in the beginning when my microphone.
I saw him in the chat.
He was trying to get me to use my ears.
He was
trying to look. He said, "Where's your headphones?" And he came. So.
I know. I saw him.
Well, Audrey, one day we're gonna have to get him back on the show. We're gonna have Alyson and have you two back because I know Will. I think is a good friend of mine, Lenny Green. So that's why. That and Lenny's my brother. When Lenny talks about the Musketeers, I am one of the Musketeers that he talks about. So definitely. So we'll definitely have to bring him on and get him in here. And anytime y'all anybody wants to come back and we talk, because Real Talk is a lot of things. Alyson, I tell you, we'll talk politics. So the first Monday of every month, I have Assemblyman Al Taylor. So we talk politics and other things that are going on in the world today. Every Wednesday, I have Kevin Branzetti. We used to work together as in the 2A precinct, but we talk law enforcement, the issues of people of color dealing with law enforcement, and how can we affect change, and how can we make the world a better place. And we talk about a lot of, we definitely go over police shootings and things of that magnitude. The second Wednesday, I think Malika and second Monday, Malika, it's a free Monday, but I think Malika and I will do the Forsters. We may just get in here and chop it up with everybody. The third Monday of every month is Real Talk with Alyson Williams, the First Lady of Def Jam, my sister. I love you. And the last Monday of every month, I have a spiritual segment with Pastor Kevin Graves, and we talk and we find out how we can bring spirituality back into our lives and how can it help us become better people. So, ladies, I appreciate you all. Thank you. Happy Women's
Thanks for
Month.
having us.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for
absolutely.
having
Thank
us.
you,
Nice
ladies.
meeting all you
Lovely meeting you
wonderful
guys.
ladies.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great
definitely.
Thank you,
meeting.
ladies,
So
for coming.
Thank you.
And
You're
giving us your
welcome.
time and your talents and your information and your spirits. Bill, thank you for giving us the platform and allowing me to bring
Yes.
that in. I wish you love and light, peace and
Thank you.
blessings, miracles, music, and above all, joy. This is Real Talk.
Real
Real
talk.
talk.
Real
And
talk.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, ladies. This has been amazing.
Yes. Can't wait to
Amazing.
meet you ladies in person.
We
Me
need to.
too. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yes.
and,
See
and,
you
and my
on
man,
front
shout out to
stage.
Sylvia in the building. My man Brian said that was my dog. Dope show tonight, fam. Every show better than the last one. Great did the thing. Y'all did your thing. Ladies, it's a pleasure. Hold on. We're gonna talk in the green room.
Okay.
Thank you.
That bell.
Zen. Terry knows these bells.